Hi, I'm not Andrzej, and this is not the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401. I don't look like Andrzej, but the Husqvarna Svartpilen 125 looks just like the 401. Why? Probably because it shares a lot of components with it. From the frame, through the wheels, all the way to the brakes. That sounds like the simplest recipe for a successful small motorcycle. Husqvarna thought about how to make a good 125 that everyone would want to have. The easiest way is to take a big motorcycle that's already been a sales success and just put a small engine in it. And that's exactly what they did. So what now? And you have to admit they did an excellent job. Just look at this motorcycle. Does it look like a 125? Definitely not. And that's confirmed by the opinions of people who stopped by while we were doing tests. They asked what kind of motorcycle this was and couldn't believe it was really a 125. Because honestly, it really doesn't look like one. Even the engine, if you look at it, doesn't give away how small the displacement is inside this machine. Let's maybe start with what's most important and is the biggest advantage of the Husqvarna Svartpilen 125, namely its appearance. The motorcycle looks amazing. A modern design, stripped of any unnecessary plastics here. It really looks like a ultralight motorcycle. Maybe in reality it's not quite that light, because at 143 kilos compared to competing brands, it doesn't make that much of an impression, but honestly the motorcycle handles great. Still talking about the looks, I want to show you what I like most about it. The engine. A black engine, black frame, black wheels, even the spokes are black. A black exhaust, it's just incredible, seriously. I love black motorcycles, so as soon as I saw it, I practically fell in love with it right away. The engine has a displacement of 125 cubic centimeters and produces 15 horsepower, which is exactly what the requirements specify for an A1 category license or for riding this motorcycle with a category B driver's license. The power is similar to other brands, but 12 Newton meters of torque really makes a big difference. Because I have to tell you, this motorcycle really accelerates briskly. Maybe, no, it's not an extraordinary value for 125, and you can definitely always feel that it's a 125, but it really delivers a solid dose of fun. And even when I was riding here for the first time in the mountains around Barcona, I could feel what it offers, how it handles in the corner seat really gave an incredible amount of fun. As for the engine, we already know that it's decent. The 6-speed gearbox with a very short first gear allows for dynamic start, and then of course maybe not some super fast acceleration, but the way it picks up speed really gives a lot of satisfaction. For people like me who don't have much experience with road motorcycles, it really does the job well enough, and we can easily enjoy riding it, especially in the city. Of course, long trips can definitely get tiring, but even riding here in the mountains and through those tight bends, I had a ton of fun, you know. At first, I won't lie, I was a bit scared, especially when we were coming down the hill and diving into those tight corners. But then I got the hang of it, and I think that a 125 is actually the perfect bike for learning in these conditions, because you can just go full throttle and simply flick the bike from corner to corner. Speaking of its advantages, what else is worth mentioning? Well, first and foremost, the brakes. You can't see it from this side because the brake disc is on the other side, but it's massive 320 millimeters bi-brake 4-piston caliper. Exactly the same as you'd find on the Husqvarna 401 Svartpilen. It does an amazing job. I had no problem here trying a little stoppy, so I think Andrzej would be able to do wonders. At the back, you'll find a single piston floating caliper with a 230mm disc. Since we're already talking about the brakes, it's also worth mentioning the ABS system, which is supplied by Bosch. It has two modes. In the first, standard mode, obviously both the front and rear work. However, in supermoto mode, we disconnect the rear brake from the ABS function, and we can try to slide a bit or go into corners sideways. It's really a very cool feature. The suspension also differs from the Husqvarna 401, as it doesn't have any adjustment at the front. At the back, you can only change the preload, which is a so-called sag. But I think that in a motorcycle of this class, for normal everyday riding, you definitely don't need more than that. As I said, the biggest advantage of this motorcycle is its appearance. apart from that ugly license plate holder, which if I had this bike in my garage, I would definitely think of something more interesting here, maybe some small aftermarket mount. Now let's move on to how this motorcycle rides. Well, for 125, it rides very decently. It's very lively, spry, and has no problem with acceleration. When it comes to leaning the motorcycle, yes, to how it handles in corners, there is a slight feeling that the bike wants to stand up a bit, as Andrzej calls it, a bit like a roly-poly toy. But a really, really nice feature here is this contoured spot on the tank. This place that lets you brace your knee nicely when turning the other way. I don't know if that's how it's done on road motorcycles, because I haven't ridden them much, but for me it worked today and I felt very, very confident with it. So to sum up, if you're looking for a 125cc class motorcycle to start your adventure with real motorcycles, then I think the Husqvarna Svartpilen is an excellent bike for that. If you like it, then I don't see any reason why you shouldn't get to know it better and gradually spread your wings and later move on to bigger engines. I rate this day spent with Husqvarna Svartpilen very positively. It was my first serious road test like this, so it was really great. I've definitely become friends with the Husqvarna Svartpilen 125. I will remember it very fondly, and I hope that someday we'll be able to spend a few more pleasant moments together here. So thank you very much. From Pazet Barcelona, this is Elias sending greetings, who tested the Husqvarna Svartpilen 125 for you. Bye.